Well, Cactus and Dave are going to take some calls, and Steve Beverly is going to join the fray with another surprise for Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. Let's go to that right now.
Why don't we get on the phones and we'll talk to Carol first. Carol, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, where are you calling from, Carol?
I'm calling from Regal Park, New York.
Okay, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Spotlight.
Thank you. I'm a wrestling fan.
Great.
I'd like to first off say to Mr. Arezzi that I really enjoy your show, and I'd like to commend you and thank you for this expose on this issue that we're talking about here.
Okay, well, we're trying to cover it, this business and all aspects of it, but this story won't go away, and we gotta cover it. We gotta call it like we see it.
It's good journalism. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. My question is for Mr. Meltzer.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Meltzer, on your latest issue of the Observer, on the latest issue of the Observer, there's a quote from superstar Billy Graham. I believe it's page 6 or page 8. And Superstar indicates. Let me ask you a question. He indicated that not in your issue, but what I've heard him say on TV, that he's sterile from steroids. Is that's what steroids does to people?
Well, he I don't believe he's actually talked about that. He didn't talk about that in the thing. I think that you might be talking about his when his daughter. Are you talking about when his daughter was brought home by Arnold Schwarzenegger? And,
yeah.
Okay. Billy has been, I guess the word is infertile. He's not impotent, but he is, he's sterile. He hasn't been sterile since he started using steroids, but he has been sterile from the years and years of I guess, overuse of steroids. I think he had a doctor examine his sperm count some years ago, and over the last few years, because him and his new wife have been, trying to start a family. And the doctor said that his sperm is dead. Now, it hasn't been like that. Using steroids does not, does not do that. But overuse of steroids, apparently, that's one of the things that is one of the things that's happened to Billy.
So steroids is a really bad thing, and what you're basically trying to say is to the kids that steroids is something to stay away from.
Yes, definitely. Steroids are something to stay away from in all aspects of life. Carol, we got to run. Thanks for your call. The number to call here is 212-477-5610. Let's go to Pete. Pete, you're next.
Yes, hello, John.
Pete, where are you calling from?
Eatontown, New Jersey.
Okay, Pete, a Booster Club member.
Righto. Just have a couple of questions for Cactus Jack.
Go right ahead.
Right, far away.
Okay, Cactus, you've been quoted as saying if you could build a ladder to the stars, you'd drop an elbow on the world.
Yeah.
And I just love watching you wrestle and drop elbows. And I love the fact that Van Hammer is the current rung on that ladder. When you get done with him, who are you going to have your sights set on?
Well, there's a lot of sites to be set. There's a lot of garbage to be cleaned up. Like I said about Van Hammer, there's two things that you can do. You can either walk by the refrigerator and pretend that there's no smell, or you can open up the refrigerator and show the world just how bad a piece of spoiled meat he really is. So the Clash of the Champions, Cactus Jack intends to take out the garbage. After that, there's a lot of people deserving of Cactus Jack elbows. You got a lot of people, and I'm not really sure. One thing that people don't quite understand is when they say that Cactus Jack is tough to get along with, that he's hard to be a partner with, is that I've formed alliances with just about everyone there. I may be the easiest person in World Championship Wrestling to get along. I've tag teamed with Ravishing Rick Rude. I've tag teamed with Larry the Cruncher Zbyszko, and I've been a tag team of Lex Luger, and also have worked for Mr. Luger in various capacities. So I think when you look at the people on my side of the fence, you'll see that Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham and people like that may very soon see their end of the careers coming.
All right, I just want another quickie. What's happening between you and Abdullah?
What's happening is a lot of people are jumping to conclusions. You got to understand that most people don't understand, they don't fully appreciate the pressures that come hand in hand with crippling people and ending careers. You see, Abdullah the Butcher, he's an emotional man, and so am I, and sometimes our differences take the form of violence. It doesn't mean that anything's coming to an end. Far from it. As long as there's bones to break and spines to snap, I think that Cactus Jack and Abdullah the Butcher will be along for a long time.
Hey, I hope you guys continue staying together. It's a great team.
Okay, listen, Pete, thank you very much for calling.
You bet.
Okay, number to call here, 212-477-5610. Steve Beverly is on the line? Okay, let's punch Steve up. Steve, are you there?
Good evening.
How are you doing? You're on with Dave Meltzer. You still there?
I sure am.
Okay, and you're here at Cactus Jack. And Steve, of course, you're entering the last few weeks as publisher of Matwatch, which is considered one of the top wrestling letters in the world today. We've asked you to come on today because, as Dave Meltzer just mentioned to Cactus Jack, we brought Cactus in here for a couple of reasons, and one of which Dave Meltzer mentioned to him just a little while ago that he won this year's Bruiser Brody Award. And, Steve, I think that you have something to mention to Cactus as well.
I definitely do. This will be our fourth and final Matwatch Annual coming up. It'll be published the week of February 28th. And I'm really pleased to announce tonight, we do very much like Time Magazine and try to select what we think is a person who embodies the spirit and professionalism of wrestling, even through some adversity and hard times. And your guest tonight delivered performances that are at the pinnacle of anybody's profession. At times this summer when crowds were not great, when crowd enthusiasm could have been much less, but never failed to give a top performance. And second off, presented what I felt like was part of the best match on a weekly episode of an American television wrestling program this year, and that was the match with Sting on Worldwide Wrestling earlier. Because of all these factors, we have named, and it's the first time I've ever announced it before the annual, we have named Cactus Jack the Matwatch Man of the Year.
Man of the Year.
For 1991, and that goes along a tradition. 1988, Eddie Gilbert. 1999, or rather, we're not at 99 yet. 1989 was Terry Funk. Last year we gave it to the wrestling television viewer because we didn't think there was anything extraordinary that anybody did that really merited it other than the viewer having to endure much of what they did. But this year, this man's professionalism and performance, I think, has stood out above that of anyone in this field, and Cactus is my pleasure.
Well, thanks, Steve.
You got all of New York City. All of New York City's cheering now.
See, 68th Street, too.
See, John never informed me of this. I really feel like this has become This Is Your Life, Cactus Jack, and I think I was going to call him up and tell him I didn't feel like riding along to New York City and just calling in on the telephone. I'm happy I came, and like I said to Dave, thanks to your readers who like what I do, because it does make a difference.
Well, I think there's no question that, as we said a couple of weeks ago, I know Dave has mentioned this many, many times. Of course, Dave and I are great colleagues and friends, and I think I can echo anything he has said previously. In a profession that is so turbulent, has so much turmoil, and in so many instances where ego goes before what's best for the business, I think you have truly personified what many of us wish all professional wrestling would be like. And as many of the callers who've called in here before this evening, you've never failed to give a top performance in my view, and I think in the view of many readers of Matwatch. And I'm looking forward. I've already written the profile to go along with the Man of the Year award, and I'm looking forward to the readers being able to read about that in the Matwatch Annual.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Steve. When you voted Terry Funk Man of the Year, the piece that you wrote was one of the best pieces I've ever read, and it really almost, and I'm not just saying this, it almost put a tear in my eye reading some of the things that Terry Funk went through to make him the Man of the Year in your eyes. And if I got any of that, Terry Funk's been a big inspiration. There's been a lot of people in this business that have been very good to me, and you guys are among them, so thank you.
Well, you're quite welcome, and we just hope that 1992 is going to be an even bigger year for you. I think that the greatest period of your career is ahead of you if you stay healthy, and after taking a roll down 50 steps, I don't know how likely that is, but I do. I really think that we need more Cactus Jacks in this profession, and I just hope you stay healthy enough that we can see the ultimate top of your career reached.
Cactus must have felt like it was his birthday.
Yeah, this is your life.
Yeah,
it's your life, Cactus Jack. And it was great to surprise him. And I know he wasn't feeling well when he came to the studio. And of course, this is not like going to WNYG or WGBB out on Long Island, which was a 15 to 20-minute drive for him. This was actually getting into New York City, and he wasn't feeling well, but it was a big night, and I was happy that he was able to make it and happy to get these 2 wonderful awards announced to him in real time. It was a great memory.